Any change in the situation, Commander?
Our backup is waiting for us at the drop point. Arlac Company, Krogan Commandos.
That's correct, Shepard. They are an accomplished unit. Their decisive action in liberating a colony from Batarian pirates made them famous.
Good to hear. Other than that, there's been no word from a team of Krogan scouts since they went through the Rachni relay.
I don't like the sound of this. The Krogan would have come prepared to fight.
We don't
That
know
is
much,
true.
but no Rachni activity has been reported.
Still, it's troubling there are rumors at all. It's been years since you released the last Rachni Queen on the condition she'd disappear forever. She was desperate to save her race.
Just be ready for anything.
Maybe even Rachni.
Yeah, shuttle just arrived. You better get moving, Team 2. See anything, let me know.
Grunt?
I recognize that guy.
Shepard!
What are you doing here?
I could ask you the same question. Didn't those idiots lock you up?
They did.
Kinda, sorta.
Put me in lockdown to keep the Batarians off me. Didn't want problems with the Council while they prepared for war. But the situation changed.
Yeah, they got bigger problems, all right. That's why I'm out here running Arlac Company. They're tough,
He's running the
they're
show.
invincible. Reckless, but effective.
What have you been up to? It's, of course, we haven't seen you since Mass Effect 2, and for those of you who are not familiar, Grunt was a squad mate of ours in Mass Effect 2.
Sounds familiar, Grunt. How did you go from being new and unproven to your own command?
Wasn't easy. When Rex put Arlac Company together, he needed a leader who represented the future of our species. Thanks to you, I completed my rite of passage on Tachanka and became part of Clan Erdnot. I was an equal.
True.
And being the strongest, I was chosen to lead this honored company.
I bet some didn't like a tank-bred Krogan being in charge.
I collected a few scars earning my place here. These Krogan respect me.
And, again, for those of you unfamiliar with what happened in Mass Effect 2, Grunt was not born the way that most Krogan are born, as a child who grows up over time. He was bred in a tank by a scientist who was trying to engineer the perfect Krogan, and this was the result. Said that Grunt was his masterpiece, and, well, the thing was, although he was fully grown when he came out of the tank, he was implanted, I guess, with memories, information of some sorts, to help him contextualize what he was supposed to do, but still was basically like a baby in a grown-up Krogan's body, so it took a little bit of a learning, but helping Grunt to see the world and understand what everything is all about, and of course we did complete his loyalty mission in Mass Effect 2 to help him earn the honor of becoming a full-blown member of Clan Erdnot, and that is why, perhaps, he has the honor here of leading this group.
You were a pain in the ass, Grunt. But if you're Krogan or half the soldier you are, we might make it out of here.
Glad you're here to crack some heads, Shepard. Hard to believe this might be Rachni. Seems crazy. The Rachni. A chance to face the old enemy? Impossible to resist.
Yes, you are the one. The Krogan who occupied my quarters on the Normandy. You left your mark.
What? Who is this, Shepard?
You shouldn't be so anxious to face the Rachni. They were formidable opponents, even to my people.
Ask me later.
It's a long
Whatever you
story.
say.
We don't know if the Rachni had anything to do with this. We're here to find the scouts. I didn't see any signs of activity during our approach.
Agreed. But this place smells wrong. Like a bad wound. Our scans show the tunnels down there lead to a large central point. If we're lucky, it's a nest.
A nest might be fortunate. We could end this here.
Arlac Company, move
Just
out!
laugh.
Grab what you need, Shepard. Meet me at the scout camp ahead.
Sounds good. Take what you need and move out.
Okay, got a little bit of Paragon points from that. Not entirely sure why. But as a reminder, the Rachni, we've talked about them a little bit in the past, but they are a group or a species of sort of insect-like creatures that, as we were talking about as we were exploring this general area, did at one point in time call this area home, but they were sort of isolated from the rest of the galaxy, had invented, I should say, space travel. However, they didn't really have a mass relay to connect them to everyone else. Then some people accidentally opened up an inactive relay, which you're not supposed to do, because who knows what you might be suddenly opening up to the rest of the galaxy. And in this case, it in fact unleashed the Rachni on the rest of the galaxy, who were not only actually intelligent insects capable of space travel and using weapons and what have you, they were quite numerous and powerful, and nearly wiped out the rest of sapient life on the galaxy until the Solarians, quote-unquote, uplifted the Krogan and used them as the frontline troops to take out the Rachni in the Rachni Wars, and we've spoken a bit about that in the past, so that's the backstory. Here we have some spare parts we can salvage for some monies. We have a pistol high-caliber barrel. Now, that's actually what we're using right now for several people. We have the Claymore, which is... it's a new weapon. If you can't tell from this image here, it is a shotgun. It is actually a shotgun that does exist in Mass Effect 2. It is the one that either is exclusive to grunts, that you have to pay some resources to unlock at your research terminal, or one that, well, depending on what class you are, there may be a certain opportunity for you to unlock additional weapons at a certain point in the game that I will not mention any more specifically for fear of spoilers in case you have not done that yet. So, let us carry on here. Although it is a nice pickup, it's a very high power shotgun, I don't necessarily think it is something that we want to be using on our Shepard here, because it's pretty heavy. And by pretty heavy, I'm pretty sure it is ridiculously heavy, and that is definitely not what we want to be doing on this occasion, because, well, we have places to go and powers to use, and so we want our cooldown to be basically as fast as we can possibly make it. So, with that being said, I think that may be everything in this area. We should probably save before we start doing anything big. Okay. Let us see. What else? Do we have a journal update by any chance? So, this is what we're doing. The Attican reversed the Rachni. Investigate the missing team, find out what happened. Not much new there, I don't think.
Their base camp has been decimated. The Krogan are overconfident. It's their weakness.
So there's the looks of the Typhoon, which we were using previously for ourselves and just the weapon range. It does... It's huge, and the face shield does look kind of weird. It looks a lot like an elephant from this angle, if you ask me. The face shield looks a whole lot like elephant ears, and then the actual barrel looks a fair bit like an elephant trunk, at least from this angle like this, where you kind of can't see that... Oh, no, it's actually pointing straight out like that. You could kind of be mistaken for thinking, oh yeah, it's a trunk that droops down. Anyways, as we continue to lose our minds, let's poke around here some more. See if we can find some additional goodies. Like this weapon bench we could use, which, if, for example, you wanted to check out... I mean, I suppose we can take a look at the Claymore. Yeah, remember when I said it was heavy? I wasn't kidding. Extremely heavy, but also extremely high damage. I'm meant to do this. The Claymore used to be a hard-hitting, but poor-selling shotgun due to kickback problems, snapping the arms of anyone but Krogan firing the weapon. Yeah, because that's how powerful it is. After a rehaul of the kinetic dampening system, the Claymore is being rolled out again. As a way to lure back customers, the gun's manufacturer has lowered the shotgun's selling price without skimping on its stopping power. So that is the Claymore, which is, because our squad mates don't care about weight, something that we eventually might consider to use with them, because we are still a little bit low on viable shotgun candidates. The katana, our starting one, not very good. Scimitar, also pretty darn bad. The Eviscerator is kind of nice because it does pack a decent punch in comparison to those other ones. It is on the lighter side, so that's one of the upsides of it, and again, the weight doesn't really matter for squad mates, so suppose they don't care very much. Oh, we did pick up the Eviscerator twice on that mission, and I sort of laughed that off, although I'm seeing now that that actually meant that we have not the Eviscerator 1, but the Eviscerator 2, which means it is slightly upgraded, slightly better than the Eviscerator 1, so that actually is not a coincidence that that happened. It is actually somewhat significant. So Claymore 1 as you see. Definitely our heaviest and highest damage shotgun at the moment, so it's a decent option for squad mates potentially for that reason, because again, they don't care about weight. There's also an SMG high caliber barrel over here, which might actually be something that we would like to throw on here. Like, for example, I'm curious to see if we take off ultralight, are we still at 200% recharge time even with that? We are. We are, so that's just free damage in that case. It is an extra 15%, so I like that. Then suppose we want to do the same for the Liara, because ultralight just doesn't matter for her at all. We just put it on there because we didn't have any other options. So
A long way down.
I was just thinking that, Javik. In case you're wondering, no, you cannot go down there. It will not let you. Okay. Anything else?
Ready, Shepard. We're right behind you.
1 second. We will find the tunnel entrance, but we will first nab that salvage for monies. Oh, that dude's checking it out. In case you didn't know, Krogan dude, it is a long way down. Their helmets do look really cool. Okay, let's chat a bit with Grunt.
You ready to go?
Let's see. So, tell us a little bit more about the situation. What have you been up to exactly?
What did you do after the Collectors were defeated?
I spent most of my time back on Tachanka learning what it was to be Krogan. In the lab where I was created, the lessons were like fighting with practice weapons. They had no bite, no impact. I needed the blood and pain. I made mistakes, but I learned.
Good for you, I think. Okay. What about this team you've assembled here?
Tell me more about this company.
Arlak means Eye of Wrath. We are named after the fierce Tachanka's son. Rex handpicked us from different clans to show a united Krogan. We were sent because we're the strongest.
That's good to know. Hopefully, that means that whatever we run into here, we'll be prepared. Then, what is the deal exactly with these scouts? That is what we're here to do, is help to rescue these scouts or find out what happened to them.
What happened to the scouting party?
Looks like something dropped half their camp down a hole. Their shuttle must have been lost as well. They weren't going anywhere. Doesn't matter. We're here to find the Rachni and burn them out.
Okay. Or maybe we're saying that all hope is lost for these scouts, but they ran into something, whatever that something is, we need to take it out, because it might be the Rachni.
Did Warlord Okir imprint anything on you about the Rachni during your creation?
Okir ensured I knew of the Rachni. They are respected as an enemy. Everyone thought they were dead, defeated by the Krogan. You proved that wrong. If they're here, my blood demands they die.
Oh. I mean, I suppose it does kind of make sense. That seems like everything we can ask you about.
All right, let's get going.
Finally, right behind you, Shepard.
Alright, now let's see. Because I think we may be approaching a point of no return. Like this. Like this.
Everyone all right?
Shepard! You in one piece?
Looks Looks like we're all okay. Keep in radio contact.
On our way!
Okay. So now we're just gonna head down here and explore the tunnels real quick. No big deal. Don't worry. Don't worry about us. We're totally fine. We're totally fine. It's not like I was taking a bite out of a snack there and nearly choked on the bread that I was eating in the process. It was a little startling. Just a little startling is all. Okay, so let us proceed. See if there's anything around here for us to pick up, but it does not appear as though that is the case. Let's see. Oh, we also, before things go down, which I'm expecting at some point, things are going to go down. Let's make a point of activating Liara's ammo ability. As we were saying before, unfortunately, it is not highly enough ranked for it to be a squad ability, which I think at some point we would like to do, but at the moment it's just going to be Liara and Liara alone benefiting from that. So, in terms of what weapons we want people to be on, yeah, Liara, probably the Scorpion for you, and probably Typhoon for Javik will be on, I think, this occasion, Shuriken might actually be a little bit better. Might actually be a little bit better, at least in some situations. So let's carry on and keep our eyes peeled.
Ahead of us.
I see it.
What is that? There's webbing.
Grunt, got a body of a scout here. Been dead a few days.
Yeah, if he has his weapon, grab it. You won't need it anymore.
That he does have. It's the M451 Firestorm, which may sound familiar. May even look a little familiar, a little hard to see from this perspective. It is a heavy weapon that we had in Mass Effect 2, or at least had the option of getting in Mass Effect 2. We personally did not opt to invest in it, because it did cost some resources from the research terminal.
Is that webbing?
Looks like it.
And it was generally not one of the better heavy weapons, so we just opted not to use it. But what we can do is we can break through the webbing using this weapon, which is a flamethrower. So it's kind of cool, at the very least. So here's another point where I believe this is a point of no return down here if you drop down below this ledge. So, I don't know, how confident were we that we didn't miss anything here? Think we're good. Think we're good. And so one other thing you can do is when you have this heavy weapon, as is always the, I think always the case in Mass Effect 3, if you switch weapons, then you drop the heavy weapon, and when you pick it back up, it has the same amount of ammo it had when you left it on the ground. So you can't just like keep it as an offhand thing here and run around with it and you know, save it for a future mission. I believe it's going to go away after this mission if we don't use up all the ammo, so just heads up on that. Okay, we'll just turn on our light. How much do we... Oh, we just need to poke it. Poke it. Our flamethrower. That is sufficient. That's good to know. Okay.
Stay close, it's easy to get separated.
Agreed. Everybody be ready.
Why are we whispering? That is kind of creepy music, though. I think it's fair to understand why you were whispering. We're just going to a deep, dark cave that we don't know anything about that may contain large quantities of powerful species that we previously thought were extinct but may not actually be extinct and may be about to overrun us because we're kind of going into their homeworld. Or at least, their nest. Okay. Oh, I don't like when we put our our weapon away like that, or at least our flashlight away like that. Let's keep the light a-shining here. Got some webbing over there and some webbing over here.
Confirmed.
What was that, though? Oh. There we go. Anything here? No. Spore pods. What are those, you ask? What are those? Well, so the thing is, just take my word for it, don't walk into them.
I see something.
Yeah, what is that?
We need to be cautious. They're dangerous.
Javik is correct. What you should do is try to proactively destroy them, because in case you can't tell by how I am making a point, destroying them all, they can in fact damage you if you carelessly are to walk upon them. There's some stuff over here as well. There's some stuff on potentially on both sides. Can we even climb up this? Yes, we can.
Those codes, Shepard. Reaper technology.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know about that, Javik. Maybe. Broke this open unintentionally as well. Sure. That as well. But it is nice how you don't actually need to... Oh, that one did explode on us. There you saw. It dealt a lot of damage. Almost took out our entire barrier. I don't know if that was just one of them. There is another firestorm we can pick up. Which, oh, it gets us back to 250. I mean, we didn't really spend much of that ammo. We might have wanted to head over here and just broken through this as well while we were at it. See if we find anything. As long as we are mindful of just doing a quick little burst, we can save a lot of ammo here. Technically, you can break through these things with your normal weapons. Projectile-based weapons like the Acolyte may not be able to. I don't remember. It may just be obnoxiously difficult to do so. But since we have the Firestorm, it's kind of a way to break through these barriers without needing to use ammo on your usual weapon, so it's kind of nice in that sense. Okay. Now, do we have any indication of goodies? I'm a little surprised by the lack of goodies here. Makes me a little concerned that we might have missed something. I mean, there was, of course, some additional heavy weapon ammo that we did pick up, so there's that. I think we're good here. For the time being, perhaps. Water's just... It's too blue. Too light blue. Let's save. And if we... Let's just switch weapons for a second here. See if we can zoom in to get a better look at what we see here. That looks like a dead Krogan. Not really sure what that thing is. Those look like additional spore pods of some variety. So... Okay. Maybe we pick this back up, I suppose. Alright, guys. Prepare for the worst. What is that? That is a Ravager. An enemy that we are seeing for the first time. It is, well, as you can perhaps surmise based on the other friends accompanying it, it is a Reaper enemy of some variety. And of particular importance is that, well, let's just say we definitely want to stay in cover, if possible. And the reason why I was emphasizing the whole crowd control thing previously is because, well, we've got a lot of husks heading our way here. Why don't we dark channel this barrier engine, which I think is the first time we've seen one of these as well. Looks kind of like the shield engine that we've seen in the past once or twice for Cerberus, which was giving Cerberus enemies some additional shields in that case. This, I think, is going to give these enemies extra barriers, which is something we would rather not have them acquire. So let's try to shut that down as quickly as possible. I think we'd like to get rid of these husks before they have the chance to swarm us too much. Otherwise, that's going to become a pretty big problem. And that is what the Ravager does. It is, by some accounts, technically the highest damage enemy of all of the Reaper opponents.
Good eye.
These guys are trying to flank us over here. There may be some coming around the left side. Oh no, it's this husk over here. Yeah. So, they fire extremely powerful, basically missiles, from long range. And so the risk with these Ravagers is that they'll hang out on the far side of battlefields, like this very situation here. And they will basically force you to stay in cover like this, because if we pop out, we are going to get clobbered by that damage. Meanwhile, enemies like the Husks are going to rush us down, and if they reach us, they can punch us in the face, stagger us, knock us out of cover, during which time we will be taking hits from this Ravager, who will be dealing tons and tons of damage to us in the process. So that's not good. So that's why it is very important that we prevent these Husks from reaching us, so that way we can stay in this cover and not have to worry about getting knocked out of the cover and getting clobbered by the Ravager. So, let's have Liara Singularity. That is Javik who's getting hit by that. Then I would love if I could actually see the specific husks here. I think that explosion got rid of all of them, which is pretty sweet. Okay, so now it is just the barrier engine and the Ravager, who is kind of sort of hitting Liara, except it's focusing almost exclusively on us. So it is purely armor, which means what we'd ideally like to do is hit it with a warp. That primes it, and then we can either throw or... and actually Dark Channel would be... might as well just get Dark Channel and that'll also prime. But, yeah, throw would be our detonator of choice then. Okay, Dark Channel, I believe, is on as well. So Dark Channel, I think we took the extra damage against... I want to say armor and barriers is what we took, and so should start to whittle it down quite a bit. I think that means it should still be primed for this explosion. No, it is not. But it is going to take damage over time for quite a long time now. So we can throw again. We hit? We did. Okay, so it goes down.
It's the Rachni, or what's left. Another species twisted by the Reapers.
Grunt. Rachni presence confirmed. Modified and very dangerous.
Finally, something to kill. Nothing here
Grunt.
yet. Lost a Krogan to a sinkhole. Bad way to go.
The breeding ground must be here. The Reapers are protecting an asset of great significance.
Okay, so let's read up a bit on what exactly those Ravagers are all about. So, the Reapers.
The Reaper. The Brute. Marauders.
Ravagers
are former Rachni that the Reapers have transformed into heavy artillery through a process of implantation and genetic modification. As walking organic turrets, they can sustain and inflict considerable damage. Ravagers bear egg sacs that continuously spawn swarmers. If the sacs are destroyed either during combat or upon the Ravager's death, their entire contents burst forth to charge the enemy and explode on contact. A dead Ravager expels a caustic gas and an acidic puddle. Alliance scientists have theorized that it is easiest for the Reapers to maintain control over units of Rachni genetic extraction because of the species' neurological predisposition for hive mind consensus.
Oh. So you're saying it's easy for them to take over the Rachni. Well, that's not something we particularly wanted to hear, but there's a very pleasant, up-close look at what a Ravager looks like. So, as we've seen, and as it says here, the primary thing that the Ravagers do is they fire long-range projectiles, basically like a big turret. They're slow. They're actually done in sets of 3, so they'll go, oh, oh, oh. And then, once they've done 3, that's your time to quickly pop out and try to hit them with some abilities, and then after a short delay, they'll start firing 3 shots again. That is, at least from the Ravagers themselves, pretty much the only ability that they use. They're also very slow moving, but they have a lot of range. And they actually have what is sort of like a laser sight that they'll point on you, which helps you know if you are in their line of sight. But the other thing that they do is if you shoot them in particular in the basically balloons that you see, and there are several of them on their bodies, it actually does deal extra damage to them, but in doing so, it'll also cause that little bug dude you see on the ground in front of it. Those are called swarmers. Those will basically come out if you shoot the balloons, and those guys are quick little buggers that will chase after you, and if they do reach you, they'll try to jump onto you, and if they do, they cause an alarming amount of damage. So you gotta be really careful about them, in large part because they will sneak up on you, and they can oftentimes be quite numerous. So one by itself, maybe not that big of a threat, but if you don't see them coming and you happen to walk onto a whole bunch of them, then you might just be dead. So that's one thing to bear in mind about them. So that was our first Ravager. And as I was saying, this, technically speaking, I believe, highest, at least pure damage enemy of all the Reaper forces. At least in terms of upfront damage. And once we start talking about, like, well, what about damage over time? Well, that maybe not in that case. But, okay, let's check these Krogan to see. Yeah, there's another Firestorm here, not Blackstorm, that's a different weapon. But, since we are almost at full capacity here still with our existing Firestorm, I think we'll probably try to use this a little bit more first. Shotgun Shredder mod, which is actually a really nice armor-piercing mod for shotguns. We still have not used many shotguns thus far, because it's pretty much just James who uses them right now, unless we wanted to put one on us, which we kind of don't, because they're heavy. But, good mod. Probably a mod that we would like to have just about anybody using on their shotgun. So, definitely a good pickup. More of the pods here. So let's try to take them out, and try to take them out far enough away that we don't accidentally damage ourselves in the process. Weapon has a little more range than I'm giving it credit for, it seems. There are a lot of these. So technically speaking, you don't need to destroy spore pods. You could just walk past them, but if you happen to, as you might in this situation, in this fight here, if you happen to be traversing the battlefield and coming across some unexpectedly, then you might accidentally run into them and take a bunch of damage in the process, and that is not fun. You probably don't want to do that. So it's kind of a preemptive, let's make sure we don't accidentally kill ourselves type of thing. So that's why we're getting rid of them. Okay. So, then, I mean, while we're at it, I suppose, might as well restock ever so slightly on the Firestorm ammo. Then, oh, except there were more, and I did not realize there were more still. Excuse me? That was rude. I mean, it doesn't seem as though Firestorm ammo is going to be a huge problem. Yes, you can, of course, use it against enemies. It is also an option, of course. The more we have, the more viable option that might be. Lower difficulties, I think it is a little more of a viable solution, because enemies don't have as much health, so it doesn't take as much of the Firestorm to take them down. So you aren't going to blow through the limited ammo quite as quickly, whereas if you're on Insanity, then you might. So that's why, for the most part, we might try to avoid having to do that. And also, of course, we're primarily a power-based character. So this looks a little alarming.
Blocked, Shepard.
Copy that.
It must open somehow.
Okay. Did we save after the first Ravager encounter? I'm not sure if we did. This thing. What is that thing? But also, break through that. We have a Reaper node.
What is that?
Which is probably not a good thing. That's probably not a good thing, right? We do have, I thought I saw, yeah, more Firestorm. Let's just see. There are other... Garrett's just staring at it intently. There are other stuff that we can grab here. I thought we might have missed something. Did we miss something? Hold on. We've got just the Reaper node over here, or is there other stuff that might be of interest as well? Obviously, there's no sign of enemies right now, so that's good. Like, can we burn through? I don't think we can burn through that. Or perhaps this either? Okay. Was there other webbing over here we might have missed? We theoretically could have broken through? Did I miss some? Maybe not. Yeah, I don't think we can go back up there. Yeah, okay. I suppose we'll carry on then. Thought I might have missed a spot. Please grab the ammo, but I don't think we fired our weapon once, so we should be good. Other than this thing, which of course we can't restock with normal ammo. No, no, no. It's far different. Far different from the normal ammo, you see. Okay, so now we have this Reaper node, and I'm kind of curious. I mean, it is just an inanimate object, right? It does have HP, and sometimes I think, based on what we saw in that Cerberus attack mission a little while ago, that maybe these inanimate objects are not the best metric for how much damage skills have, but I'm kind of curious to see what Dark Channel does to it. If anything. Might not even be able to destroy it with Dark Channel. This might be something that requires that we actually shoot it more conventionally. If you insist. Oh, actually, we put 1 point into Javek's lift grenade, right? We got 3 grenades out of that. So yeah, it's a pretty significant number. And that is a skill that we might be looking to use. If, for example, we are stuck in cover, trying to hide from a Ravager while we're getting swarmed by husks, and we need to get rid of those husks because they're about to reach us, chuck in a whole bunch of grenades at our feet to knock all them back and hopefully take some of them out. That's a nice way to quickly, hopefully, at the very least, create some distance between us and husks, if not, just outright remove them. But anyways, oh, let's restock. Then, let's destroy this thing. I think we might need to go with the shuriken.
Very good.
It's making sounds. Okay, now we can break through this webbing. That doesn't sound good.
Look out!
Our exit is cut off.
Lovely.
Looks like we're finding another way out of here. Come on.
What was that noise, Shepard? Sounded bad.
Cave in. We're all right.
Good. Didn't want to dig you out.
That hurts my feelings, Greg.
Run.
Yeah.
Okay, let's deal with these pods here. These ones, as you can see, trying to deal with from more range. One of the problems with this mission is that I think ammo can at times be a bit hard to come by. Look at that. That was the kick. It was moving us up, and I just did it to the side like that. Got it all in one burst. Also, this music. Mass Effect 3 multiplayer menu, I think? I think that's what this is, 'cause I'm like, I recognize this. I recognize this music. 2 pods in one. Yeah, this is, I mean, we're deliberately just... I think you quite literally just need to do 1 damage to those pods to make them explode. Hello, little bug dude. But, you know, don't get carried away and do too much exploding. Too much shooting, otherwise you'll waste your ammo.
Shepard, I know what happened to the scouts.
What did you find?
They got hit hard. The leader ordered them to carry weapons deep into the caves. He knew the next team would need help.
They died making sure we could make it to the central chamber. Come on.
Phew. That is dark. Okay, we've got a whole lot more pods up here. Webbing as well. In here, some Reaper tech. For a pretty large sum of credits, so that's cool. Let's take these guys out. Just, you like to play it safe. Now that was too far. Yeah, you like to play it a little safe when there are this many of them out here. It's like, okay, if I take a wrong step and we accidentally walk into every single one of these, we are definitely dead. Okay. There's more of them over there. Is there stuff here as well? It's just the other way around, maybe? Yeah, looks like it. Okay. Just a circle. It appears. Way through, that's where we got the credits. Way through must be over here then. Oh no, that's where we got the credits. Have that range? Oh, I thought we got 2 for 1. Bugaboos. Stop that nonsense. Or here as well. I mean, they are everywhere right now. Doesn't seem like there's anything through there. I think we proceed this way. This feels like a time where you just go. Probably be faster. Ooh, and this is why we were exploding the pods. Because there's a surprise husk. There's a surprise husk that Liara fortunately took out for us. Liara/Javik. And if it does, I mean, if it causes you to jump out of your seat, that's one thing. But if it causes you to retreat and, say, run into all these pods, then you're dead. You're probably dead. So that's one of the reasons why we've been trying to make a point to taking these things out, because if not, then surprise appearances such as that could potentially be the end of us. And this Krogan corpse.
Looks like a last message. He's asked that it be delivered to an Asari named Erebba on the Citadel.
Do you remember that name? Do you remember that name? R.I.P. R.I.P., man. You'll be remembered. Char. Yes. That, I'm afraid, was Char. We'll leave the Firestorm with him. Feels like the right thing to do. Does, of course, mean using a little bit more of our own ammo, but we can get a Firestorm back here as well. And so we will definitely make a point to return that letter to Erebba. Doesn't seem like there's anything on the other side of that. Okay. And actually does not show up on your mission summary, but there is reason to bring that over to Irba.